advocacy is important because if this is an arena that you want to be in, you need to understand what's currently going on with laws that protect you and how you can get involved to take a stand and say no. Writers and producers, creators, music, even engineers now. I'm going to talk about a law that we're trying to push into effect right now to protect engineers. But there are so many laws out there that are not protecting us, and we're fighting daily as advocates in Congress, you know, notifying our local legislation as well as our national legislation to let them know, you know what, this is how we keep our lights on, this is how we take care of our families. I know some songwriters and producers who were doing great years ago, living in mansions, had Rolls Royces, all this kind of stuff, and when the industry changed, everything took a turn for the worse. So it's not just affecting, you know, people like myself, it's affecting, you know, even more bigger producers that have been out for years before I was even in the industry. Okay? And if you plan on being in this industry, you should know the climate that we're in right now. And so that's why it's very important that you guys understand. The first act is called the Songwriter Equity Act, okay? And you can actually find out more information about the Songwriter Equity Act by going to ASCAP's website and just search Songwriter Equity Act. But basically, this is what I was talking about the two outdated portions of the U.S. Copyright Act that currently prevents songwriters and composers from receiving royalties that reflect the fair market value of their intellectual property. So it just harms us because now we're in a digital age to where streaming now is 70% of the music industry. Did y'all know that? How many of y'all, just by raising your hands, are signed up with a streaming company right now? Whether it's Tidal, Pandora, Spotify, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pretty much everybody in here. Okay? So what that means is you're paying a one-time fee. Tell me, does this make sense? Just think about it. You're paying a one-time fee. What is it, $9.99? But how many songs do you actually listen to per month? A lot. Let's just do a guesstimate. You probably listen to probably 20 songs a day. Morning. Give me a number because I'm not signed up with any of them. 4 hour period. 200 a month? Okay, let's just say 200 a month. Okay? Let's just say 200 a month because you listen while you're at work, then you get in the car and you listening some more, then you get home and you're doing your hair trying to get ready for work the next day, or you out on the weekend with your girls, y'all getting ready to go to the club and you listening to your streaming, right? You use it pretty much for everything. So let's say you listen to almost 200 to 300 songs a month, and you've only paid how much? $9.99. Okay? Does that make sense? No. But they're winning because they're getting you to repay them every month. But the songwriters and producers, we only get paid off of the songs that are streamed. And you may stream my song one time, but if you were to digitally download my song, I get paid 99 cents off of that song. Or maybe $1.99, depending on how much the single is going for. So $1.99, I get a percentage off of whatever I own, whatever my percentage is. If my publishing on it is 50%, we break that down with the publishing, we break that down with the record company, break that down with the artist. I carry more weight eating off of $1.99 than you trying to give me 3 cents because you got to divide $9 divided by 300 songs that person listened to. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? It makes no sense. And so, of course, I'm not signed up with a streaming company, and that's because I have my personal reasons. But they're getting away with it from the masses because fans just want to hear great music, right? And they know that that's the way they're going to do it because the companies are forcing it down your throat. Oh, you can listen to non-stop commercial-free radio streaming. They make it sound really, really good, but it really doesn't help us as creators because we're getting pennies. They paid Barbra Streisand like $400 to Barbra Streisand for her song being streamed like over 400,000 times. So I'm just trying to give you guys just from the creator's perspective. I want you guys to really see just how valuable and important the industry and how it's changing for the digital age is, because right now we really don't have anybody that's going to fight for us. So it's important that you understand what the Songwriter Equity Act is. I think BMI also has another act that they support too that's similar to what's going on with the U.S. Copyright Act. But if you just remember U.S. Copyright Act, that will help you understand that it's outdated and it has not been updated for digital streams. So we're not fairly getting paid what we should be if it was like a digital download. So by all means, I encourage you guys, support your artists that you like, that you listen to, buy the physical copy, the digital download, or if you can go to Target or any other retailer and buy the physical copy. They eat more off of that, and you will too, once you start getting songs released, okay? So that's one. Another one is the allocation for music producers, which is called the AMP Act. And one thing I like about this act is it actually looks out for not just the producers, but it also looks out for is this the one it looks out for? Yes, this looks out for the engineers too. We have engineers in the building? I know there's one right there. So engineers, they put in a lot of work trying to make our song sound good. Y'all, if y'all follow me on Instagram, I love when I'm in the studio, I have a session with a new engineer and he's good. Okay, I give you a special shout out. And it's important to me because I don't really like being in the studio too long, like unnecessarily. And when you have an engineer that don't know what they're doing and they hella slow, it just really is frustrating because you're like, switch this over here, put this right there, change this over here. Can you make this effect? Can you do that effect? And if they don't know what they're doing, it's just like you're wasting time. And somebody is paying that bill, whether it's me or my manager or the publishing company. So you don't want to, just be in there unnecessarily. Well, they have a law now that will protect engineers as well as producers to make sure that they get paid for the songs that they actually contribute to. And it's just publishing, throwing them a little 3%, 5%. You mean to tell me somebody who mixed, let's say one of the best albums of the year was this year. Give me an album that you love. Rihanna. Solange, right? You mean to tell me the engineer who actually spent countless hours and hours mixing and making sure Solange and Rihanna sound dope, he shouldn't have a percentage of the album? It's just a small percentage. Because at the end of the day, we can actually contribute to the actual creative process of writing a song, but from a sound standpoint, which is what's gonna help the fans love the song because it sounds good, the engineer should actually be looked out for too. I'm all for it. Because I do feel that, especially engineers who work for big studios, they don't get paid a lot. And they only get paid by the hour and that's it. Some of them don't even get awards for projects that they actually mixed and mastered on, And then, because the industry has hit an all-time low with the Copyright Act being out of date and streaming taking over and people actually not buying physical sales, the record labels got hit. The marketing companies got hit, right? So with that, the marketing companies, the promotions, the record labels, the studios, because now the record labels don't have as much money to pay the studios to let their artists stay in there for 2 weeks. So now you got studios who are not making as much money, but yet they're bringing in engineers that they don't have to pay as much, right? Because they're gonna take the work, and they're benefiting off of it, but the engineer walks away with nothing. So the AMP Act is another act that I think if you guys are in support of engineers and producers being paid fairly, because there are a lot of producers that contribute to songs that may not necessarily they didn't come up with, but they came in and added a little guitar riff and they added some little keys and stuff like that, but they were just, probably giving credit and maybe not giving publishing. Maybe a fee, but not actually getting publishing. And so this law, the AMP Act, will protect them for that. The last act that is that you guys should be aware of on the advocacy end is called the Fair Play, Fair Pay Act. And what that does is it protects us as songwriters as well as artists under this act, because right now artists don't get paid for songs that are on the radio, only producers and songwriters. They don't get paid. Artists don't get paid for when their songs are streamed on radio. Did y'all know that? No. So what that does for the artist is just exposes them. But if they did not write on that song, when the check gets cut for their performance royalties, it goes to the publisher, the record label, and the record label disseminates it out to the writers, or the publishing company like ASCAP, BMI, they'll send it out to the writers and the producers. But artists don't get paid off of that. And so the Fair Play, Fair Pay Act will, it covers music that's played on satellite radio, internet radio, or traditional AM, FM radio for all music services that should compensate artists under consistent uniform standards that reflect fair market value. So the artists are not eating as much as they should. A lot of them are having to do shows like crazy now. You know, it's just like a whole chitlin circuit all over again. Show money. I'm dead serious. It's show money. Show money. It's all about the show money because they're not getting paid as much off of album sales anymore. So the royalty checks are like that, okay? And so since the royalty checks are low, why do you think Beyonce on tour? Even though she's gonna sell a good amount, but she still makes more profits when you look at her Forbes off of what? Her shows, her tours. So the Fair Pay, Fair Play Act will allow artists to actually, and it means a lot for you guys too if you are artists and songwriters, because that means that you can get paid also from a songwriter standpoint, but also for being an artist whenever your song is being streamed online. Now, Sound Exchange does cover a lot of artists. If you guys are familiar with Sound Exchange. If you're not familiar with Sound Exchange, I invite you to go to my website at TamiLaTrell.com. I have a full video about Sound Exchange and understanding what it is and how, as a copyright holder, you can actually register to get monies off of songs that have been distributed or being played on digital radio. All right, so TamiLaTrell.com for Sound Exchange. But a lot of companies that are, you know, streaming, they, like I said, they're paying what BMI, CSAC, and ASCAP what they want to pay them, and then from there, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC distributes out to their writers and publishers and their publishers, which are, and also producers, and it's not as much as it should be. All right, so I invite you guys to go to my website to look up these advocacy initiatives. If this is going to be an industry that you want to be in, you also need to know about the bad, not just the good. Not, oh, I just want to be famous. Oh, I want my song to be on such and such album. Okay, cool. But do you also know that what you could be getting paid, you're not getting paid, or you're not going to be getting paid until we actually take a stand and sign up, you know, and vote for these acts to be legislated in Congress. We need help and we need support. I'm a published songwriter, but at the same time, it can't just be me just because I'm a published songwriter. It needs to be unpublished songwriters as well, because you guys have more of a voice than I do, because I've already brokered a deal with the major publisher. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they're gonna look out for me, I'm gonna look out for them. I'm gonna make sure when I got a song, they're gonna go and fight for my pub, fight for my percentage. But you guys, y'all don't have anyone to fight for your percentage, fight for you. So you need to make sure that you're aware of what currently is going on with your money, with your works, all right? Become an advocate, please become an advocate. Next year, Grammys in my district just ended last week, where we actually went up to our local Congress office and met with them and talked about the important issues that are affecting us, like these acts that I just talked about. I encourage you guys to become an advocate. Like I said, go to my website, learn about it, sign up for the initiative, Google it, really do your research, and just really get a fascination and passion about this type of stuff. Get hungry for it, because it'll help you in the long run, where, you know, back in the days, no one would share information with us, and we just didn't know, and they took advantage of that. Okay? All right, so that's it. Any other questions before we move on?
I had a question about copyright. So, as a songwriter, let's say even though you're placing records, placing all that, you still copyright those songs that you wrote. And most likely, you know, in most situations, labels want the rights of the record.
Yes.
But
you still can own the copyright. All they're going to do is just recopyright it.
Oh, okay.
They're just going to recopyright it. And when they do recopyright it, it will show. I'll give you an example. My situation with Whitney Houston, I had already had the song copywritten. But Arista, once we got on the phone and verified everything, Arista, by law, because they're going to distribute the song, they're going to recopyright it. And Whitney Houston was listed on it, and the other producer was listed on it as well. But the original copyright, in order for them to have that song, had to be cleared by me, because I was the original owner. So you can still copyright the song or the track, if that's what you're saying. And, you know, say for instance, the label contacts you and say, hey, we want to put this on Young Thug's album or whomever album, right? you can still approve it, and they're just gonna overwrite that copyright. By law, they have to register the song too with their, because that's the only way it can belong in their catalog as something that they own. Okay, so it's not gonna hurt you. Question?
Yes. As far as the streaming is concerned, is it worth doing the streaming to earn the download? Because I know me as an artist, I have all my stuff on the streaming site so that it can come up randomly in someone else's playlist, a Rihanna playlist or a Beyonce playlist, and that might keep somebody to go and download my full album. Mm-hmm. Is it worth having that publicity starting off to do the streaming, or should you just,
I would never tell you no, because you do want the exposure. You do want people to be able to discover you and discover your music as an artist, but I just wouldn't let that be the end-all, be-all. You still need to build relationships with your fans, build a database of followers, build a cult movement of having your followers notified when you release a new record, so that you just have a homegrown relationship with them. These are how the Bryson Tillers and the Kalanis, before they even got discovered and got deals, they had a cult following because they gave their artists music at the same particular place where their artists knew they can find them. So they got discovered, right? But then after that, they stayed consistent with the relationship of putting out good music constantly, and that's important too. So you can just be discovered all day, but you also want to make sure that the music is good and that you continue to be consistent with your fans so that they can continue to support you. You don't want to just put out one song and just expect somebody to discover you, and then you drop another song, a year or two later, by that time they've forgotten. So just make sure that you have a place, whether it's your Facebook fan page, which is what I strongly would suggest you guys do, just because Facebook is where everybody is. So you can invite all your friends and they can invite their friends. They're already there. You don't have to send people somewhere. And that's marketing 101, but I do suggest that you don't make that your end-all be-all. So if that's what you do, don't look for no big streaming check coming from it, honestly. But if that's your method, don't let that be your only method, all right? Make sure you have, popular pages that's gonna get people to come directly to you and discover who you are as an artist. Question?
When it comes to the copyright, right, it's a part in it that says it's already yours when you originally created. However, when it comes to legally, if you can show that you originally created it, but you don't have the copyright, then what happens?
It just depends on the judge that you're dealing with. I think that's why I stress so much is making sure that you have paperwork. I just wouldn't waste, I'm sorry, because of what happened to me, I would not suggest y'all just be out here just writing your records and not having no way of protecting it. Just do it quarterly and do volumes. Like I said earlier, you can have a volume, you pay one fee, I think it's like $36, maybe it probably went up by now. It's $60 now. Okay, what's $60? Every 4 months. But you can register 10, 15, up to 100 and something songs. So do that, protect yourself, and you will be good. If something were to happen, you have something tangible like that actual certificate that will protect you. Other than that, you just got songs floating around. And I know it's a whole bunch of people who are doing it. It's very irresponsible. Very.
And on the copywriting subject, so it's happened to me before that I wrote a song and it took a minute to go in the studio and get an MP3 done so I can copyright it. And somebody took some of the ideas of the song, used it in a different song, and I couldn't do anything about it because it wasn't copywritten at that time.
See?
So now I know that there's an app called ScoreCloud. They can actually, if you don't play instruments, which is my case, everything is out here, harmonies out here. What I do is I record, I sing into the app, and it transforms it into sheet music for me.
Great.
And then I copyright that before I have the actual stuff.
ScoreCloud?
ScoreCloud.
ScoreCloud.
ScoreCloud, yeah.
Interesting. I'm definitely going to check that out. I want to look at the software.
It's nice.
Definitely. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. Well, I am so excited about